Yeah, today we're going to talk about a topic that a whole lot of people don't want to talk about, and it's very, very uncomfortable. We're going to talk about the spiritual world and what we've been seeing back in the back there, a whole lot. Not on our property, but on other people's property in the back there. And it's going to freak some people out, but it don't bother me because I'm used to being able to see things like that. We were talking about, some people call them ghosts, but I call them that being able to see into the next dimension of mind. And we see it on a regular basis. They don't never come on our property. They just be back in the back there, just moving around, you know. And we got a video. We caught one of the spirits on a video, and we're gonna share that video with our community, and give us some feedback and tell us what you think about it. But I'd like to start off about a situation that happened to me back in the 90s. You know, I had lost my mother, and so one Sunday morning I was laying in the bed. You know, had the fan running and the AC, and just chilling out, laying on top of the sheets. And I woke up, but the only part of my body I could move was my eyes, but I couldn't move the rest part of my body. And at the foot of the bed, where my feet was at, I seen my mother. She had a Bible in her hand, and she was reading the Bible. Now, the amazing part of this, the colors that she had on, she had a very, very beautiful hat. The clothing that was very, very, very beautiful. But I ain't never seen these colors on this planet Earth. You know? Mm-hmm. Sometimes they say it's like earth tone colors, you know, different colors, but I never. This is just a bug. Don't worry about it.
I'm about to spray real quick, but go ahead and finish talking.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And she was just reading scripture, and I'm trying to watching, but I could feel what she was saying to me in my mind, and I tried to keep my eyes open. And time I blinked my eyes, she was gone. But I received the message, and I know what I had to do to improve on my life and make myself a better individual. But these dimensions are very real, you know.
I know for myself, I've also seen a lot of spirits growing up, and I've never been afraid. There's a lot of people that have fear in them when they see that, but my first time seeing a spirit was actually in the 90s too. And I saw my drama teacher sitting on the stage giving a lecture, and right behind him came a little boy, like chubby white boy with a dome kind of, you know how you cut the hair, the shape like a dome. His hair was black, and he had on what I would call kind of like a Charlie Brown shirt. It had stripes. It was dark blue and some red stripes with some white. And he walked across the stage behind the drama teacher while he was talking. I didn't say anything. I was just looking. And the drama teacher was like, oh, I thought I saw somebody behind me. This happened in front of everyone. He turned around and he's like, God, that gave me the chills. I thought I saw somebody behind me. And there was someone behind him. I saw that myself. I don't know if anybody else said. I was too afraid to speak. I didn't say anything. But I did see the little boy that was chubby, that had on some blue jeans too. He had walked behind him, and he was see-through. Another time that I saw a spirit, actually was before this time, was when I was talking to my mom in the living room back in my old childhood home. And she was sitting on the couch. This was right after my grandmother had passed away, my maternal grandmother. And we might have had the memorial service probably a week before. And I don't know if this spirit that we saw correlates with my grandmother, but the timing is kind of interesting. What happened I was standing up. My mom was sitting on the couch, and from the living room, we had a spare bathroom, and the light was on in the bathroom. And what ended up happening was, there's a lot of rocks out there. What ended up happening was, the spirit came out of the bathroom into the hallway and just stood there looking at us. She turned around on the couch so she could see what I could see. And I said to her, do you see that? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? And it was just a white, shadowy, like ghost figure. And what ended up happening was, somebody blew the horn at us.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening, I said to her, do you see that? Do you see what I'm looking at? And she said, ignore it. My mom was like frozen. She said, don't acknowledge it. Don't acknowledge it. Ignore it. Ignore it. So what we ended up doing is just kind of pretending that it wasn't there while it was looking at us and we were looking at it. It was just a shadow figure. It was short, no more than maybe 5'2" or something like that, but it floated out of the bathroom. Now what's going on here on this property, which is very, very interesting, the amount of times over the fence, especially now since we had the fire, the same kind of white figurey smoky things are appearing over the fence, like when we're walking and we can actually see them. A lot of people are afraid of that kind of stuff. I learned not to acknowledge them because that's how my mom behaved when we had something like that in our house. But we're seeing it a lot lately. So I don't know if somebody has done something to harm others out here and bury someone. I don't know if it's ancestral, like the ancestors are answering the call to some of the stuff that we've been having. I don't know what it is, but we can see them over the fence.
Now, one thing about me, I ain't never been afraid of the spiritual realm. Never in my life. I always was gifted. Remember what I told y'all a long time ago when my mother had me, when my father, let me put it this way. When my father passed away, I was still in my mother's womb when she went to the funeral. So I had, all my life, I had this gift to be able to see the spiritual world, to understand the spiritual world, to read about death and dying by Elizabeth Ross, out-of-body experience, you name it. I have had it. Remember I told you I was at a service station one day and it felt like somebody was reading my mind, right? And I looked around, this guy was looking at me. And he came over and gave me $8 towards my gas. He said, this is all I have to give you, you know? Like, tell me what that was all about, you know? But they don't teach this in school, you know? You don't teach, no. But if you have that gift, if your children have that gift, they'll try to wean them children off from you and use it for military purposes, stuff like that, you know? But we have seen a whole lot of stuff out here on the back side of the property, and I'm not afraid of them. I don't think my daughter would be afraid of it, but there's something going on back there, happened back there that
nobody don't want to talk
nobody
about.
want to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Nobody don't want to talk about it. So
and I just wonder if other people have seen them too.
Most time, them evil-minded people see things that they get scared at because they know that they figure that they come and get them because of what they done did. Mm-hmm. But that's on them. Karma is on them.
Yes.
You know. And I always believe what's in the dark will come to the light.
That's
and
true. If you hurt somebody, you think that you got away with it. That's not true. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You'll be seeing images of that person, and even on your deathbed, you're going to see it because you should not have done anything to harm what God has put here on this earth. That was not your right to do. So I don't know. We're not trying to say, but it's just kind of interesting that spirits are roaming the other part of the property.
You know, I have talked in my life at the age I am. I have ran across a whole lot of different people, but one thing that I have learned by interacting with different people on different levels, the ones that killed somebody and thought nobody didn't know nothing about it, they had to go to bed, they had to go to sleep drunk or high. they can't go to sleep like a normal sleep. They have to go to sleep high or drunk, and then when they wake up like in a cold sweat.
In a panic.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like that, you know? And that karma is for real. Now, like I said, I think we are thankful that we caught it on video. And one of our cousins, she watched the video, and she caught it without us telling her about the video.
Yeah, it's the farm video about the dogs. So when you go back to our farm channel, check out that video about the dogs. It's at 2 minutes and 55 seconds, and you'll see it. You'll see it for yourself. Matter of fact, we'll put the link below in the description so that you can see and click the link, or either post a comment in the comment section with the link to that video so you can see it for yourself. It's at 2 minutes and 55 seconds.
And this thing is no joke, man. This is real. This is no joke. You know, it's just no make believe. I'm glad that we had the opportunity to catch it on video.
Because it's one thing to say it, like we talk about it ourselves, but it's another thing for it to be strong enough to present itself on camera.
On camera, you know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, that spirit reminded me of one of my customers that passed away. And everybody was getting ready for the wake. And I seen the spirit just floating all through the house and came on the back patio. And nobody else saw it but me. So these things are very real, and it's part of nature, it's part of life, you know.
Why'd you talk about what happened with little Charles when he was little?
Oh yeah. I'll never forget. We had left Miami, and Charles was it's my grandson. It's one of my grandsons, Charles, CJ, Tate, Cleveland, but Charles is oldest. And we went, his great grandmother, she wanted to come up to Georgia because her husband was buried up here. So we went to a cemetery behind the church. You know, up here, they have the cemetery right behind the church. You don't have the cemetery like down in Miami. They have a cemetery separate from the church. So me and Charles went back there, and we was looking at I was looking at the grave markings. And, you know, a whole lot of people died in the Civil War, you know, and this was a black cemetery. So everybody got ready to leave, and me and Charles, we were walking from the back of the cemetery, and we passed by. I was conscious of his great-great-grandfather was buried right there. And Charles turned around and looked down the ground and said, "What you said?"
How old was he, like 3?
Well, yeah, going on 3 years old. "What you said? What you said?" That's what he said. "What you said?" And everybody ran to the van except the grandmother. I mean, except his wife, which was the great-great-grandmother. And she loved to walk in the cemetery barefoot. That's an old African tradition. Be, you know,
grounding.
Yeah, grounded with the earth. And Charles kept looking down, and he picked up the vibration. So it moved from Charles to me, and I told her exactly what I heard the spirit told me to tell his wife. The spirit had told me to tell her that he appreciated the fact that she came up here to visit his grave, and he also told me to tell her that we will make a safe trip from Georgia back to Miami, you know, and that he loved her very, very much. And I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that. And that's the first time I ever seen a child in the natural form to pick up that type of energy, you know. Yeah.
So this world, you know, has a lot of interesting things that are occurring in it, and you know, some things you don't have to be afraid of.
Yeah.
You know, it just is a part of living.
Yeah.
And dying. So
thank you for taking the time to listen, and we really appreciate you viewing our videos. Take time to like and subscribe, and we'll keep y'all updated, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you for watching.
Okay.